Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Third Chair. Today we are continuing the third debut, or debut of my third team, I guess I should say. After this battle, it will be the final version of the third team. But first, we start off with a battle against Alpha Ace 1, who is bringing a pretty powerhouse team. Looks like three sweepers, maybe Mega Skeptile, a Thunderous Therian, which you don't see too often, and then a special wall in Florges and a physical wall in Skarmory. I'm not too worried about this, guys, at least at the moment. Immediate threats, so I'm going to send out my Mienshao to start this battle. And he's going to send out his Skeptile, which he reveals is Mega, but that's alright because I still got Fake Out to outspeed this thing. Skeptile Mega gets 145 base speed, it's super quick, turns into a dragon too, so I guess that's pretty cool. He goes for Focus Blast and misses. My Venusaur would have taken it fine, but he leaves. The battle goes into his Skarmory, where I then reveal my Mega Venusaur, and I go for a Sludge Bomb, which was a good prediction on him to go into his Skarmory. Now here, I don't take this Brave Bird well at all, and so I went for a Leech Seed, maybe expecting him to switch out, go into his Florges or something. But now I'm in trouble. Well, I mean, he wouldn't go into his Florges, maybe go into his Thunders or something. But now he's just going straight into Brave. He's Brave Birding me. And I have to go into my Rotom Wash. Luckily, the Leech Seed will help keep my Rotom at a nice, healthy 90%. And he has to leave because I thought I could get a free Volt Switch here because his entire team, no ground types. But Mega Skeptile gets Lightning Rod in his ability. Very, very helpful to it, actually, if you can switch in on a Volt Switch. But now I'm in trouble. I send in my Mega Venusaur, and I do make one mistake in this battle here because I took a hidden power, I think Fire or Ice, either way. Venusaur's Thick Fat, Mega Venusaur's Thick Fat would have allowed me to live. But then I went for a Giga Drain. I probably meant to go for a Sludge Bomb, but misclicked. Unfortunately, his and then I do a weird thing of sending my Manaphy thinking I could take a hit. So those two bad moves aside, I will admit I did make some mistakes in this battle. I do manage to take out this Mega Skeptile with my Dragonite's Dragon Claw and the fact that it has multi-scale so it can take that first hit. But now he goes into his Florges and it's 4 to 5, and I go for a Roost because I get my multi-scale back. And I just want to see how much a Moonblast would do at this point because Florges is very specially defensive, but it doesn't have the best special attack. It's the reason why Clefable's really an overused mon and Florges is in the underused tier. But I then switch out. We do a double switch. He goes into his Thunderous Therian, and I go in my Rotom Wash. I get a Will-O-Wisp off as he switches into his Keldeo. Probably, I could have gone for a Volt Switch there or something. I don't really know why he went into his Keldeo, but maybe just to hit me hard with a Secret Sword, which he did 70%. I get a Volt Switch though, and now his Keldeo's burned, low HP. Mienshao can finish him off. But he goes into his Florges because it has a every single move that I have minus Fake Out, which I can only use once in the beginning of Mienshao's turn, he can resist. So I just go for a U-turn here. I don't want to take a Moonblast yet. And I go into my Heatran on a balloon. And unfortunately, I do lose that balloon, but that's okay because there's not really any threatening Pokemon on his team that run ground-type moves. Unless maybe you have like HP Ground Keldeo. I highly doubt that's a thing. But then I go for a Lava Plume, trying to burn the Florges, but he gets a free Wish off. However, he tries to pass it to his Keldeo. He makes a mistake here because Lava Plume will kill it, and he wasted a Wish Pass and sacked his Keldeo. However, then I reveal I have Flash Cannon, and it just missed out on the kill. Very close. He gets to pull off another Wish, reveals he has Protect, and now we're kind of at a stall where I went for a Lava Plume expecting to hit anything hard that switched in, and if he didn't have Protect, it would have killed the Florges. So now I'm thinking I either go for the burn, or I go in Lava Plume, or I go for the Flash Cannon. And he makes a very risky prediction sending in his Bisharp, but gets hit by a Flash Cannon, so it was good. However, then he leaves it in to sack it to a Lava Plume, so that was bad. Okay? So then he sends in a Thunderous Therian, very dangerous Pokemon with what it can do. However, what it can't do is take out my Rotom Wash, because I'm still at 1% as we're living here. And I'm not exactly super healthy, so I wanted to go for a Pain Split, although going for a Will-O-Wisp would have been nice at this point too, to get some status on the Florges. However, I thought maybe I could wear it down and then just take it out with my Mienshao. However, Hydro Pump missed, so that plan goes out the window. And he's unfortunately back up to above half. So as we saw last time, Heatran's Flash Cannon only did 50%, and we're gonna just assume it can't do more, because you don't want to go in and risk a low percentage chance to one-hit KO. But I still know that he can't hit me hard, and I can hit him hard. So I went for a Flash Cannon, but he did the smart thing and protected. I then went for Stealth Rock, just expecting him try and switch in one of his other two Pokemon that are at least going to take, 12% from Skarmory. We're just going to watch here a little bit of a Wish protecting war. But Moonblast did 10%, so clearly it's he's going to have a rough time with my Heatran. But I'm just trying to get the residual damage up as he's switching around. He does a good job and predicts my Flash Cannon here. And does 49% with Discharge, which is something you don't see every day. Probably expecting me to get paralyzed and Parahacks, but it does not work. Lava Plume will take him out, and now he has to sack his Skarmory to my Heatran, which does 33%, although it probably would one-hit KO unless it's sturdy, so I mean it would have to have a little damage before Stealth Rock damage, which would help if you ever tried to Wish past a Skarmory. But now it's a interesting battle, because his Protect here, it's a 1v3, will not let my Flash Cannon kill him in one turn, so he can Wish Protect me out here. However, I mean, he will run out of power points eventually. I do make the prediction here that he goes for Protect, and I send him my Mienshao. And this isn't because my Mienshao can kill him, but with a combination of Fake Out, and I do run Knockoff on this guy, although maybe I should run Poison Jab in the future. It does get it. You could knock off the leftovers, and now he's stuck being way below the health needed, and Flash Cannon will take him out. So he does get a nice 80% Moonblast, takes me out. And it is a 2-on-1. I'd rather not send him my Dragonite just to be safe. So I send him my Heatran and get a nice Flash Cannon off. He knows it was over. He couldn't Wish. He could Wish, but he'd be too slow. If he protected, he'd just die in the next turn. So that's the end of the battle. It was a good game. Once again, showcased a lot of different Pokemon. I'm running pretty much all Pokemon from Overused into Mienshao, as he's running a lot of underused threats that can pretty much be overused, in my opinion, like Thundurus, Therian, Sceptile, Mega. So that was a good fight. I enjoyed that battle, so good job, Alpha Ace 1. We both played, a little couple mistakes, but it's always nice to see. In our second battle here, we have, oddly enough, a mono bug team with Bruno 1, or Bruno I, probably an I, but this team is interesting because bug types are pretty weak to Stealth Rock, and bug types are very weak to Heatran. But this ended up being a very good battle, a very fun battle. I got to see a couple Pokemon for the first time, at least when I was getting better. This is still during suspect testing, by the way, if you could see that, as I was improving at the time. But I sent him my Mienshao first, and he sends in his Armaldo, which he then switches out for a Shuckle. And I know Shuckle really can't do much. I mean, he's just there to kind of take hits and eventually go down. What I did not know at this time is that Shuckle does get Sticky Web, and that's going to come big in the future. So I knock off his leftovers. I don't want him getting back to high HP. And he goes for Stealth Rock. So I'm like, that's the worst you can do. I'll just send him my Shaman and set up a free sub on this guy. But then he goes down for the Sticky Web, and I think, oh, this won't be good. He has a lot of hard-hitting threats on his team. He's got Scissor, he's got Heracross, and Mega if he can get it in. Although that's alright, because now I'm still behind his sub. I got Leech Seed on the Shuckle. He reveals his fourth move is Encore. So now I'm a little bit stuck in a odd situation. There's a bunch of entry hazards on my field I can't get off, but I'm getting free Leech Seed and he can't break my sub. So I just decided to stay in and Leech Seed whatever he puts in there. He goes on the end, Mega does an Air Slash, and I just stayed in and see what he'd do, because eventually the Encore would wear off. But I don't want to take an Air Slash, so I switch out into my Rotom Wash. And this is, once again, a physically defensive Rotom Wash, and it 14%. I think Yen Mega even gets Tinted Lens. So, I mean, he might not be running it. Oh, he's running Speed Boost. That is exactly why. It did not do that much damage, and then this crit Giga Drain still didn't do that much damage, and I can kill him with a Volt Switch. So, Yen Mega, not the most bulky Pokemon. Probably a good late game sweeper if you can get in and keep the rocks off the field, but, it's tough to sweep with him. Even with his good move set of probably Bug Buzz, Air Slash, Giga Drain, that works. But he sends in his Heracross, I send him my Mienshao, I go for a Fake Out. Good job, it flinches him. And I'm expecting to kill him here, actually, but it turns out that he's faster with the Speed Drop of the Sticky Web. And then he's Moxie, so, I mean, I'm a little bit bit stuck here. I actually was thinking he might be a Choice Scarf set, or at the very least Altaria can take him on in my Mega form. Later he's going to reveal to be a Mega Pokemon though, so that's going to be unfortunate. So now I just send in my Heatran because this Shuckle, the worst he can do is Toxic or Encore, and I'm, you know, Heatran is untouchable. So he goes into his Armaldo. I hit a nice Lava Plume here, and I get a very fortunate burn. He still has to break the balloon and do much damage to me, but he just forfeits. So, I mean, it was kind of still pretty even, so I'm surprised that he ended up forfeiting here. And I'm actually making the mistake. I thought that, I mean, the Heracross was Mega, or at least Choice Scarf. It could be the Scissor, but, you know, you'll never know now. So, we're going to move on to our next battle. So it was a good battle. You get to see, I never actually talked about it, but at the very beginning, you see what I ended up replacing Dragonite with is a Mega Altaria, because I never had a Mega on this team. And the Dragon Fairy type gives it some very nice resistances, so that Dragonite doesn't have. So we're going to head into our third battle here. We have one against Big Papa Lamers, and he has a pretty hard-hitting team of Heracross and Garchomp and Tornadus if it's offensive. But then he has an interesting core of Heatran, Clefable, and Starmie that I can work around if I play it right. So, not too worried. It's a tough team. If I can just break down a couple of his key threats like Garchomp and Heracross, I'll be fine. So I send him my main shot to start the battle, and he goes into his Tornadus, which is much faster. And he's going to predict me to go for a Fake Out, so he's going to go in his Clefable. Looks like he can take a lot. Might be physically defensive more so. I mean, most Clefables are. But then he does a nice withdrawal here, thinking Poison Jab, that I do have it. I told him that Mien Xiao does have it as an option, but I actually am not running it on this Mien Xiao. I take way too much damage from the Garchomp, but I did knock off his Rocky Helmet. He sets up Rocks, so I knew it was a defensive set. Once I saw the Rocky Helmet, I get a free Ice Beam. I'm faster. All good. But then he sends in his Tornadus. Still not worried about much. Look at that knockoff. Only did 20%, and this Manaphy is all offense. However, once again, he's probably an Assault Vest after seeing how much damage Ice Beam did. It's not a 2-hit KO. So I go to my Rotom Wash to take the Hurricane that I was expecting to come next. He gets a crit with that and only does 27%. So in my mind, I'm staying in. He does a U-turn though, and now I'm only at half health. So he's trying to play around my Rotom Wash. I do a Volt Switch because I knew I'd be slower and nothing on his team, you know, would stop the Volt Switch from working. So I send in my own Heatran to counter his on a balloon. Heatran on a balloon! And he does a very good job here, seeing the obvious Earth Power come in, but I only have to go back in my Rotom Wash and take another Hurricane or U-turn, but he goes for the U-turn, and now my Rotom Wash is sitting dangerously low. I gotta keep his high, gotta keep his HP high. But he sends in his Starmie, which is good for me, because I can take whatever he wants, like, to hit me with, and just go for Pain Split and get it all back. So my Rotom Wash is now at a much healthier 70%, and his Starmie, he said he misclicked. I don't really know. Maybe he meant to switch to someone else, but I go for a Volt Switch. And his Heatran's only at half health now, and I'm going to go into my Manaphy instead of my own Heatran, because I can set up a nice Tail Glow while he is pretty much forced to switch out at this point. And his Clefable comes in, and I'm thinking, okay, even though it's at full health, Manaphy's tough. Manaphy's very strong. But Clefable does manage to live, and even at 18%, I wanted to kill him because he get the Soft Boiled off, but I figured if I could just avoid paralysis, he's dead. So I do get lucky, or, you know, at least I don't get unlucky, and I finish him off with a Scald. And at this point, I was going to try and finish Starmie off with an Energy Ball, but I do get paralyzed, so now my Manaphy is kind of a sitting duck, and I don't really know if I can get the status off him ever, because I don't have, I can try, but you guys will see later why I can't. So then I send in my Shaman to take on this Starmie. This is a very strong, especially defensive Shaman. The crit did 9%, so either he's not running much offense or Shaman's pretty bulky. So I set up a free sub. He goes for Heat Wave because he doesn't want to switch out yet. And I get a Leech Seed on his Tornadus, which is okay, but he can just U-turn and it'll go away. But I have to switch out because I don't want to take any of his coverage moves, and I sack my Manaphy at this point, so that's why I wasn't able to heal his status with Heal Bell, which I do carry on my Altaria, even though it's offensive. No, sorry, I don't carry on the offensive. That's my mistake. My Altaria is an offensive one, not a defensive one. Doesn't carry any heal bell, so I couldn't heal my Manaphy. However, he recovers with his Starmie, maybe expecting me to be faster, but I'll just take the free Volt Switch damage and then finish him off the Minion Shadow if I'm able to. So I go for the Fake Out, and it only does 23%. And now, of course, I'm a little worried about getting hit with a Scald, but he makes an odd choice here and goes for Recover. Because my U-turn now is going to do about 80%, 76, and he's very low on health, and I can finish him off with whatever I want. However, I do choose to go into my Shaman here, just to get a free substitute up, as he leaves the battlefield, and sends in the very hard Pokemon to try and work around his team, Tornadus Therian, and he's going to just break my sub again, and I'm just going to Leech Seed again. Because we're just kind of playing an interesting game of see how long it takes to kill the rest of the Pokemon. And then I go to my Rotom Wash, because if he goes for a U-turn, I'm okay, at least health-wise, because I can just go for a Pain Split on any Pokemon that comes in. However, he now decides to go into his Heracross and is faster, and which was pretty obvious. But also, he was able to, I guess you could say, break past what was left of my physical wall, so now I'm in trouble. 76% Mega Altaria, but the Heracross is able to kill me with a Rock Blast. Absolutely insane power on that thing. I'm in a lot of trouble if I can't get this guy out of the way, especially with this Moxie boost. Would not have mattered if it probably would not have killed with the Moxie if he didn't have Moxie boost, but that was my fault. So I unfortunately lost my Mega Altaria there. I take out a Starmie, and he gets very unlucky and misses a Hurricane here. I go for the knockoff what I knew was there, the Assault Vest, and he's at 46%, but I have to leave my Minion Shao in because I can't afford to put my other two Pokemon in. My Heatran is still on a balloon. I need him to fight his Heatran. But instead of leaving, he knows that if he knocks off my balloon, it's over. And unfortunately, Lava Plume does not kill even without the Assault Vest. So he just gets to Hurricane me again, and it's looking pretty grim because he's got a Heatran at full health. And I have two Pokemon that do not want to mess around with the Mega Heracross. However, look at that. That Mega Heracross took that pretty well. And I actually thought it would be faster than my Heatran, but it is not. So, like he would have some sort of priority move, but he just runs Pin Missile, which somehow almost didn't even kill. Amazingly enough, though, Shaman comes in, and he is faster than that. So now it's a good game. He had two Pokemon left. He reveals later his Heatran in the chat. He revealed later that his Heatran was Scarfed, so it probably wouldn't have mattered, even if my first Heatran did live. But it was a very good match. Get to see Mega Heracross running Skill Link. It's an interesting Pokemon. I might try making a team around it one day. But good job, Big Papa Lammers, or Lammers, however you want to say it. We're going to get into our fourth battle here against ADJ. Odd name. But looking at his team, we see some fast Pokemon and some bulky Pokemon. So we see a Breloom, which I was worried would run Spore. And I see a Metagross, which I'm pretty, 99% sure he'd be running a Mega Metagross, not a Mega Latias. That'd be his only other possible Mega on his team. And then some pretty good walls with Rotom and, Rotom if he's running the wall set, and Blissey, who is one of the best special walls in the game, in competition with Chansey, obviously. But I said to my Minion Shao, because I see nothing that wants to take any of Minion Shao's moves, not even that Metagross. And I get a Fake Out right off the bat on Rotom Wash. It did 23%, which is pretty nice. I actually expected to do less. He goes for the Volt Switch, which I'm amazed is faster. So it means he's running a fast Rotom, or a Choice Scarf Rotom at the least. And I go for High Jump Kick on this Metagross, but it doesn't do as much damage as I was hoping, and he finishes me off with a Bullet Punch. So I lose my Minion Shao early, but that's alright, because I'm going to force him out with Altaria due to Earthquake, but I just Mega Evolve, which is kind of an interesting choice right away, and I go for a Dragon Dance. Because if I Mega Evolve, I become weak to his Steel moves, but I do become resistant to, I pretty much am able to beat Latias one-on-one. So I go for a return after one Dragon Dance, and it doesn't KO because he gets a Will-O-Wisp off due to the fact that I think he's Scarfed still, so he might be like a trick Will-O-Wisp set. It's kind of weird. But I do manage to get a return on Latias, one hit KO, even with the burn because I'm at ×2. And he goes into his Mega Metagross, and I'm surprised this killed, but it did. So Bullet Punch kills me, and sadly my Mega goes down, and it's 4-5. But I get my Rotom Wash in there to take whatever he wants, whether it's a Will-O-Wisp, or I can probably finish him off with a Hydro Pump. But he sends in his Blissey, does a good job. I will not be taking this Blissey one-on-one, but I do want to get a Will-O-Wisp on it first, just to kind of force him to, you know, play around the burn. It's not as good as Toxic, but nothing on my team runs Toxic, so I do Volt Switch out here, just get a little bit of extra damage. It's a free Volt Switch. If you decide to switch out, I can, you know, pivot around that more. I go to my Heatran because I'm expecting a Toxic or something, but he just goes for Wish pretty early on. He's going to bring in his Metagross here, which is nice, but it will not live a Lava Plume, so he wasted a Wish Pass. Very unfortunate. If he did that at some other point in the battle, it would be a lot different of an outcome. And then, oddly enough, his Breloom, he doesn't have like a Mach Punch on it. Maybe he was going for the Spore, but I just take him out with the Lava Plume, and it's looking a lot better now for me. He has a low health Rotom Wash that goes for Hydro Pump here, does 20%. And I have the ability to just pivot out here with a Volt Switch, and he's got to send something in. So he sends in his Blissey. And even though all my attackers are special attackers, I'm able to defeat this Blissey through the fact that Shaman, for now, if he doesn't know it yet, but I do get Sub, I do use Sub, and he's going to just go for a Toxic, not expecting me to have the substitute up. But at this point, he's got to break it somehow. However, he can't because I'm just going to Leech Seed him at the moment, and he's going to go for Wish. He later reveals that he doesn't even run Seismic Toss, so I'm able to take that Blissey on at all points. He sends in his Weavile, which is his last really remaining Pokemon. He can't send in his Rotom to take the Wish because I just kill it with a Seed Flare either way. So it doesn't kill though, it doesn't drop special defense, nothing happens. So he just hits me with an Ice Shard, and I do Seed Flare and take out about a little over half his health. I then send in my Manaphy here to take another Ice type move, which he has to go for. If he goes for a knockoff, it won't kill, and he'll just die. So oddly enough though, I went for Tail Glow here. I don't know why. I thought maybe the knockoff would do less damage and I could live an Ice Shard. But I set up too early and I lose my Manaphy, so that was kind of silly. But it's okay because one hit later, this Weavile, he has a Life Orb, he's going to go down. So he has to either switch out or sack his Weavile. At this point, he goes into his Blissey, and I just put up the rock. So now his Weavile came and switch in. His Rotom is at very low HP, and he sees it's over. He tries to go for the Wish. I try to go for the Burn with Lava Plume. And he just says, I don't really want to drag it out anymore because Blissey does not have Seismic Toss. Therefore, Heatran, Sub Shaman, either of those Pokemon could just outstall this thing. And if I just kept going for Lava Plumes, he wouldn't be able to Wish Pass. So he calls it a game. It was a good match, but this is definitely why you need to run an attacking move on one of your walls. Ooh, just watching the Green Bay-Washington game, all of a sudden 17-11. Wow, that turned around quickly. Almost halftime. And we're going to go to our... This is going to be weird because these videos are going to be coming up on opposite days, way in the future past this day, but I'm recording them all today at the same time, just, while I have the chance to. So that's going to be pretty funny. And when I'm able to upload them, just due to the fact that my upload speeds here aren't as good as they were previously back at college. So you guys will enjoy. You guys will know what I'm talking about, hopefully, when you watch this. But we're going to get into our last battle of this set with my third team still. I am facing Phoebos. That's I don't know what people name their teams anymore, but that's an interesting name. And the team actually looks a little similar to what we just faced. A Latios instead of a Latias, a Weavile, a Breloom, but in this case, a couple more scary threats in the Charizard department and the Tyranitar. Either of those could be his Mega, and he does no matter what, Tyranitar is 99% setting up Sand, and a Jirachi, which is very hard to face off against if it starts doing its para-flinching shenanigans and stuff. But we're not too worried yet. I'm going to send in my, I believe, Mean Shadow to start this battle because he's got to send in his Tyranitar. If he wants to Sand up, he's going to do it. But Tyranitar will not want to take a high jump kick, so I just go for a U-turn. I don't even bother with the fake out. I want to get momentum. I knew he was going to switch out, And I sent in my Shaman to face off against this Jirachi, mainly thinking if I can get a sub up, it won't matter. Like, he's going to go for like a Thunder Wave or something. But then he reveals he's faster, and he has Calm Mind. So all of a sudden, things are looking a lot less good than they were before that turn. He reveals Psychic as his move, and I'm going to go for Leech Seed. However, I'm also not too worried because my Shaman's specially defensive. So I'll be wearing him down with Leech Seed, and he's going to predict me to go into maybe my Manaphy or my Rotom or something. But he goes for Thunderbolt, and then it unfortunately paralyzes, and I missed the Seed Flare, so that turn was bad. But because I stayed in, the Thunderbolt still didn't do much damage, and I'm actually healing more than he's able to hurt me with. But now he can go for Psychic, and that he can set up still. I go into my Rotom, and the Sandstorm does go down, so I mean that's going to help out later. Like if I have to take him on with special attacks, or if you know, I don't want to take residual damage. But I get a Will-O-Wisp off. He just hits me with a Thunderbolt. Probably should have gone for a Psychic. It's more damage, and I really don't have anything to resist it that well. But he also might just try to get a Parahax again. But now he had too much residual damage, and I just get a free Volt Switch out of there. And he goes into his Breloom to take a Volt Switch, oddly enough, maybe trying to take a Hydro Pump. But I send in my Mean Shot. I'm able to take, you know, fake out whoever comes in at this point. And Latios is faster, so I can't U-turn out like I would like to. And he's going to drop a Drake. He's going to go for a Psyshock, sorry. And pop my Balloon, which is kind of unfortunate, but not super unfortunate. I don't see many Pokemon that would be running a Ground-type move. But now he goes into his Charizard right before I can get the Rock Sept, so that's a smart move. Probably also predicting a Fire-type move. But then he reveals he's a Mega Charizard Y and has Focus Blast, and everything would be fine except for the fact that it dropped my special defense. And this is interesting. He's running a Dual Weather and goes for a Solar Beam, which was pretty nice. I didn't really know what to expect his next move. I couldn't really switch anything safely in. I could have switched my Heatran if I was lucky, but I wasn't really sure what he'd go for. However, I do end up going into my Mega Altaria. I go into my I can't speak today, don't worry. Altaria, I Mega to avoid the Dragon Pulse, which was pretty nice, actually. And then I get a Dragon Dance off. And as he switches in this Tyranitar, I get another Dragon Dance off. He's probably just trying to hit me hard before I can set up too much, but I mean, return's now Fairy type on Mega Altaria, so a lot of damage there to him. And he sends in his Weavile. I'm probably expecting to be faster with an Icicle Crash, but he's not, and he didn't go for a Ice Shard, so I take him out with a return as well. At this point, Altaria is very set up, and he realizes the game is over. He forfeits, which is a pretty good thing, because Mega Altaria will run Return and Earthquake if it's offensive like this one. So Earthquake would take out the Jirachi, and then Return would take out his remaining 3 Pokemon easily, no questions asked. Unless, for some reason, his Mega Charizard Y was able to take a hit, but something tells me it wouldn't. So that was a good game. A good reason why I really like running this Mega Pokemon on my team. Just having the ability, like the very crucial point where I was able to avoid the Dragon Pulse and switch the tide to battle. That was something you don't get too often in many Pokemon. And Mega Altaria, one of the really only Fairy types that is physically like offensive. There's also a Azumarill, but very different rules. So once again, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you all for watching so much. I always enjoy doing these. I even talk so much that I start losing my voice every day that I do them. But a ton more battles to go through still. I'm getting, you know, a lot more teams. It's starting to really, you know, I'm starting to remember why I used to love Pokemon so much, and I don't really know why I stopped playing, but you know, it's nice to be back into it. So as always, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time on Third Chair.